Hello, welcome to the podcast of Startup Recruitment Failures. I'm Indra, founder and CEO of JobRely. We're building LinkedIn automation platform for outbound recruitment. And today my guest is Jonas Karklys, co-founder at NordSecurity. Jonas, could you please introduce yourself and your company?
Hi, Indra. Hi, everybody. Nice to be here to talk with you about HR and recruitment. We've been working for a while building NordSecurity, one of the greatest cybersecurity company here in Lithuania, but scaling globally. So, looking forward.
Thank you for your time and participating in this podcast. And Jonas, what is the, biggest or latest recruitment failure you had?
Yeah, it's, recruitment is always a special area for me because, it's related with people and people are, the best part of, running business. And, it's hard for me to talk about failures because it depends on your general approach running business. And for me, it means, learnings. And we learn a lot during our time building this particular business and, hired thousands of people. But the funny story perhaps is related with our new initiative, opening an office abroad.
Mm-hmm.
We always had a dream to be, international company, and always wanted to be in Berlin because it's a very unique city, bringing people all over the world and cultures from Australia to Brazil and other places.
Mm-hmm.
But our pace is always start doing and learn by doing, and we started to hire people over there. And we learned that it's a bit tricky because we at first we didn't have a local entity there. We started employ these guys in Lithuanian entity, and we understood that we can't even pay salaries after first month because we don't have blue cards, because people working there from other countries than Europe Union, they are not officially citizens. So it means we have to improve our entity in terms of owning a blue card, which is mandatory. So we had to hurry up to open a new entity to transfer all the guys to the new one, and then be really precise with following processes. And secondly, it was really tricky when we wanted to open an office. Because the new entity was without any track record.
Mm-hmm.
And in Germany, you have to have something, at least running for 6 or even more months. So we have to find a solution, how to convince the, local rental companies to give us, the new office. So it was a mess at the beginning, but it's our style, to be really focused on the end result. And now, we fixed everything and we have a beautiful office in Berlin, more than 100 people coming from, all over the world. And first 30 people were, not even German guys. So that's why Berlin is beautiful.
Amazing. I really love, developing startup, you can be really hustling, right? So you hire people and just then you think what to do, how to pay salaries. And it's always, possible to manage to find a solution instead of preparing it for a year or longer and just then to start doing something. So momentum is really great.
Yeah, exactly. And now we learn a lot, and we can advise to our friends or other companies, what to do at the beginning. And we know if we want to open an office, in other location, that we have, at least 2-3 people who would be responsible for that particular, task to establish that entity and the office itself. So, now we are much stronger in terms of this, question.
I can imagine, but it's still because, it requires preparation. And did you manage to solve these questions fast? If people are employed, I believe you need to pay the salaries as soon as possible. How long did it take for you to align everything?
Yeah, our legal advisors told us, that it's going to be impossible to solve all these issues, in 1 or 2 months. But,
Mhm.
we convinced everybody to work really hard, to be on time with, salary payments and so on. And we were late only 2 weeks, and we paid, bonuses for those who waited and believed in us. So when you really want and you have, a robust challenge, so nothing is an obstacle for you.
This is impressive. This is really impressive. And how to open an office, like how to manage to get rent if there is such a rule that you need to have a track record.
Yeah, so we convinced, local governance that, we have a really, really big company here in Lithuania and a couple of other locations. And, we are selling our software to almost every country.
Mhm.
And we can guarantee that, we have, everything in place, and, we have stable finances and everything. And they not after one, conversation, but after a couple of, meetings, these guys understood that we are serious,
Mhm.
and then, yeah, we were successful. So we were really happy about that.
I can imagine. But I believe there was quite a lot of stress dealing this, and that other people depend on that too, right?
Absolutely, and we have a really good track record about, HR things and dealing with people, and, empowering them to work and
Mhm.
achieve decent goals, in their own careers. And, when you can't pay salary and you are late 2 weeks, so you're really pissed off, and you have to hurry up.
Yeah.
But it's on the other hand, it's a good motivation for everybody. And as I mentioned previously, it's a really big learning, and every department learned a lot, including HR, legal, and hiring managers as well. So yeah, it was important for us, by all meanings.
Would you regret that you weren't prepared? Would you do you wish making all the processes in order before hiring people, or do you think it was a good way to start, and this pressure helped you to make everything way faster?
Yeah, I think that, combining everything and summarizing what we did, I think still we were at least 1 month faster,
Mhm.
comparing to that, more robust way of doing things, and, planning more, for example, in this case. But, we will use that information and those learnings, in the future. So I think it saved time for us, and, I'm not regretting that at all.
Great, great. I really like the attitude here.
Mm.
And when it comes to people, because the recruitment is always people, do you have any story when you hired and when you regret that you hired that person? And was there, I believe, if did you say that it's 1,000 employees now?
Yeah, in our group there are more than 2,000 people actually. So,
Oh wow.
we can calculate how many interviews we had, and it's. I personally believe that it's impossible to be like 100% sure when you are hiring, because
Mhm.
I could say that sometimes it's a bit of lottery, because some people are capable to sell themselves much better than others.
Yeah.
And it would be hard to say that we regret something, but sometimes you can face really funny situations when people during the interview seems that they are not interested in your company, in their role. Maybe it seems they lack some skills
Mhm.
or similar stuff, and you choose other candidate. But after a while, after 6 months, for example, you need to scale that particular team, and you're getting back to that person.
Mhm.
Then you hire, you think that, okay, maybe that person won't deliver like a rock star, but actually sometimes that person delivers and performs much better than like the whole team. So this is really nice.
Mhm.
And sometimes it looks like a bit obscuring, that it's hard to choose,
Yeah.
but this is the way it is. Sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah, I totally agree. To be 100% sure about the hire, it's impossible. impossible. I don't know how you could measure and assess in order to be 100% sure. Was there any situation when you felt maybe not a regret, but maybe it was like very obvious that you missed something in checking or asking a candidate? And the hire was a failure, like the person was not fitting and the team was not fitting for the person too.
Yeah, those situations actually happen quite constantly because, when you need to hire a lot of people, sometimes you are in a hurry and sometimes you make mistakes. But actually, I have a couple of rules when hiring, and the first rule is, if you feel that something is wrong, but it's hard to put those things on the paper, don't hire that person. You have to be 100% confident to hire and believe in the future working together, even though sometimes you also fail. But when you hire someone and you felt that probably something is wrong, and it's like always after 6 or I don't know 9, 12 months you feel and see that it's impossible to work together, and that person is not performing at the level you expected. So at first you have to be 100% sure and to feel that. Secondly, I always check the background, not always the companies that the person worked before, but the education, because we need persons with the growth mindset, because that kind of people always hire better than them, and this is the rule if you want to have a really really outstanding team. Yeah, and references is always nice, but it's not like 100%. Also, the last thing you need to concentrate on, but it helps, because especially here in Lithuania, because it's not a really big community, so it's better to emphasize particular person if he or she is not delivering at all, or job is not the main function or the main goal during the work day.
And when you mentioned the educational aspect, what about the myth that, well, there could be a great and very well delivering person without any education, like higher education at all? Do you believe in that? Or are there some cases you had that it's true, or it's better, to see that the person invested in themselves?
Yeah, for sure. If you look at Bill Gates, for example, or Steve Jobs, they are like without higher education because they dropped their universities because they were too smart, for their organizations. But yeah, sometimes you can find the brilliant minds without, trendy universities or so, and or even without universities. So that's not a rule that, everybody has to have, that particular education. So yeah, in that case, you have to check the ability to perform on their, I don't know, particular role, or, previous experience doing something, or previous jobs. So we have quite nice success stories here in our company. And what is more, I think it's also really important to choose the right character, for especially for the stage of the business, because you can have really really smart, educated, and ambitious persons, but for example, if you need to launch a startup, so you can't pick the person who loves documentation and concentrate on the processes. No, you need hustlers. You need someone who could dream about doing something new, create, test, and so on. And then after some growth stages, you can bring those guys to prepare decent processes and documentation. So this is also a really important role for me.
Yeah, I agree. And what is your what is the culture at Nord Security? Like what kind of or type of people or personalities are best matching your culture?
Yeah, Nord Securities, it's a big group. Our, first product and flagman is no doubt NordVPN, the largest VPN consumer
Mhm.
provider globally. And, we have smaller brothers and sisters like NordPass or NordLocker or NordLayer. So products for ultimate security and productivity of your personal needs and your company needs. So it's Password Manager, encrypted cloud storage, and network security solutions.
Mhm.
These products are different, and we like different cultures, and we have, we try to bring different people and different leaders because, as I mentioned before, for those new products, it's really important, to be really quick and try to overcome really tough competition coming, from global market because everybody's trying to get enormous investments from venture capital companies.
Mhm.
So culture is really different, but I really like to work here because every day you can meet a spectacular person and professional, from a really specific position to the leading manager.
Yeah.
So you can learn itself new things, which is really fantastic.
Mhm.
And we try to foster the autonomous culture, including accountability,
Mhm.
that everybody could feel relatedness, and that every day, every month, the level of the competence would grow. And we understand we are not going to work all together until the our end of the life. So it's important, if the person leaves, the person has to live a bit better that he or she
Mhm.
came to our company.
Yeah.
So it's important to invest in the guys, and this is our culture. So we move fast because we're in a global market, so nobody is waiting for you. You can't be too stable, so changes are the only constant thing
Yeah.
in our culture.
Exactly. Exactly. This is a great paradox here. Well, I work myself, not at Nord Security, but at Cousin, as you said, like in a group like Relative Company at Surfshark. And of course, different team are autonomous and they have maybe a little bit different culture inside. But for me, the group was also like a university campus, like where you come and you meet awesome people. You need some help, you can go ask. You need some discussion or friend, you can find, and it's a really amazing culture. And I admire university life. So for me, and that was always like kind of university where you have your projects, you have your focus, but you have like peers willing, to participate and help you achieve those results. And when it's like this, it's always very important to find similar personalities, right? And similar attitudes, or like people with similar approaches to work. And I believe, I don't know, have you ever had a situation, especially when you mentioned in the beginning that you felt like it's not, something is wrong, something is not fitting, but you cannot describe to others and others don't see any mismatch here, and you hire that person and you see that, well, you maybe it's not a failure, but it's not a perfect match, right? In terms, especially in terms of the cultural fit.
Yeah, for sure. But before going there, I would like to say that we are super happy that you work together with us and help to establish such a great company with such a great team,
Mm.
best talents, and and we can see now the result of that beautiful job. It was a really nice period working together.
Thank you.
Always welcome. So, yeah, and answering your question. So, of course, if I understood the question well,
Hmm.
so of course we had, and I personally had some guys, that was mismatched, let's say.
Hmm.
But you can't be the only, let's say, accountable, for that situation, because both sides have to be like, really open and honest, because, you have to understand if you both want to go to that particular direction, and if it's a good match, if it's a good pace for you, culture, I don't know, tech stack or whatever. So both sides have to prepare their homework and probably dive deeper, and then it's a better chance to work longer, to be a better team, to have a better team chemistry. But not everyone is doing that. So sometimes it's really hard when you invest a lot of time in relationship, in onboarding procedure and everything, and people leave really soon because they expected maybe something different. So it's hard, but that's the reality. And yeah, you have to polish your own processes to avoid those situations.
Yeah, I think it's very well said. It's on both sides. It's not only the employer responsible for the hiring or making the decision not to hire. It's like both two people in the room make the agreement, basically. So it's always, the employee's responsibility too. But sometimes, yeah, it's really hard. It's you don't have the interviews usually last an hour or longer. It's not a week living together, so it's very difficult, to assess everything. So maybe sometimes it's a little bit disappointment because both sides maybe had expectations, but it is as it is, right? So when you see a little bit later that there is not a match, you can go and move on and then to live, and find a better place or the better matching candidate.
Yeah, exactly. At least you have to learn from that, situation, and get a feedback and try to prepare, your routine in a better way for the future.
Yeah.
And to be even more passionate, because if the person just didn't believe in your vision, in your mission, or business goals, or other activities, so yeah, you fail as well. So you have to be better then.
Yeah, but it's not for everyone to believe in your mission, because different people have different beliefs, right?
For sure, that's true.
It's impossible to convince everyone that this is the best thing you can do here.
That's true.
And do you see any difference, like how it was before COVID and how it is now in terms of building teams?
Oh yeah, it's a big challenge, I guess, for every company, and a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of miscommunication and a lot of thoughts. Because yeah, nowadays it's not important to be like for everybody in the same room, because we work globally, and offices in Vilnius or Kaunas or Berlin or other locations, or even someone working remotely. So it's a challenge, to organize work routine itself. But if you are orientated, into the result, and not only into the processes, but to achieve those results, and if everything is planned ahead, and so it doesn't matter where are you based. But COVID made a big change, because people now want to stay more at home, because sometimes for some particular positions it's very useful, for example, to be focused on your task, to write a copy, to prepare design, to read, or some analytical work. So that's true. But during the COVID and after the COVID, we lost a bit, at least in my personal opinion, not like a team chemistry, but the feeling, the relatedness, perhaps, because we didn't have before that, anything in our heads like it's even possible to be less like 5 days together. So I think it's getting better, and you have to be even better as an organizer of the work, and the leader, to bring that team chemistry and the relatedness even in a higher level. So sometimes it costs more, but this is what we got after COVID. And I believe that in the end of the day, we learned a lot, the global community, that we can think more about both parts, like employees and employer. So yeah, we will see where we go, where we will go,
Mhm.
but it takes time.
Is there a hybrid work model, or now people are working remotely, or an office? How do you organize everything now?
Yeah, it's a hybrid model. Some guys are coming to the office daily. Some are working, remotely, and we try to launch cross-functional teams that would be like together at least in one city. So
Mhm.
it's easier to come together, for brainstorming sessions, for some meetings, and to spend some time together. But it's not always the case. It's really hard, to have just the whole team in one location. So sometimes you have, team member working in Vilnius, other from Kaunas, the third one in Berlin, and then remote guys from Poland or England or United States. So it's hybrid model.
Are there any rules, or is it on people whether to come to office or not?
More it's on people, and we just recommend to come at least 3 days per week because of the general vibe of the company. But it's up to people, and the most important thing is always result. You have to deliver, and if you are not coming, so maybe something is wrong. It's not necessarily the fact that person is working from other location, but sometimes it's related.
Okay, okay. And what was the biggest challenge for you as the head of the team, and quite a big team, when during these changes, you work at office and then you have to start, people start working remotely. Now it's pretty flexible. What are the most challenging things for you to deal with?
Yeah, it's a really good question. As I remember, the first quarantine, the first weeks of COVID, it was a bit interesting to be so much at home
Hmm.
and work really focused, and it seemed that we became even more productive.
Yeah.
But it was just only at the beginning, and afterwards, socializing, the fact that we lost socializing and we stopped dancing, as there is one song, so it's really hard. And
Hmm.
but overall, it wasn't a big challenge in terms of processes, perhaps because we already had the infrastructure. It's really easy to connect people, in Zoom or Google Hangouts. We use Slack, we use emails, other networking tools. It's easy to get access, to your roadmap or tasks. So it wasn't a big challenge, but the part of losing socializing maybe was the biggest challenge. I would say.
How did this loss of socializing affected people? Was it easy to recover afterwards, or did you see that something changed and now the team is different? Maybe, I don't know, something for better or for worse.
Yeah, I think that some people lost the feeling and the relatedness with the company or goals itself, or some people changed their own way of living, and started to change their lifestyle, or started to look for the new opportunities, or that was a bit hard,
Hmm.
because when you don't know the future of the world itself,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel that why I need to work if shit is happening, and there is no future at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we tried to to work hard, and organized some additional activities, inviting some professionals from medicine
Mm.
to have some lectures, to speak in front of everybody, and helping to manage their own routine.
Great. So I think it's very important, because it's not only, these changes, especially with COVID, but it's not only about the work life. It's a lot of about the personal life. And if companies can take care about their employees' emotional state of mind, it's a huge advantage. And I think it's a very good impact. And you can create even higher loyalty of people, because you take care, you care, when it's
Yeah.
a bad period for everyone.
Exactly.
Great. So, and Jonas, so you are, I believe, co-founder of one of the biggest and the most global startup in Lithuania, which recently became a unicorn. What would be your, I don't know, not the greatest, but what is the takeaway? What is the lesson or thing you would like to suggest for other startups, which are startup founders who are trying, to become at the stage you are at? What is mostly needed?
Yeah, so the ultimate success, is combining a lot of different things, and I think one of the most important part, of running a business and trying to achieve something, special is like, you have to have a startup culture, but the mindset of businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
And we really worked hard establishing our own culture and caring people, investing into them, trying to grow them, to increase their competence and so on. And on the same time, you have to run a business, so you have to think about revenue streams,
Mm-hmm.
because it's sometimes not easy, but sometimes it's easier to get a lot of money at the beginning and then be quite not in a rush, and think carefully about everything. But you have to be in a rush, you have to test a lot. The idea is only 2% of success. 98% of success is execution. So you have to have the best optimization loop and think about revenue streams, because when you have revenue, you can scale your company, you can bring more capital from other companies if you wish. And so that's probably the most important part, and I really wish for everybody care about that part, and then fix everything else around it.
Great. Great. Thank you, Jonas. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your stories and experiences.
Thank you, Indra, and always welcome. Nice to be here.
And thank you to all the listeners. For more podcasts, please visit Job Live.